Do I know what I'm talking about? That's up for debate. But joining me now, I'm pleased to say, is QPR manager Mark Warburton. Mark, how are you?
Will, very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. We were chatting off air. You've literally just got back from Middlesbrough, so how are you feeling?
Yeah, a great result. We had a tough evening in terms of the early penalty, which I felt was an awful decision. If you give this, you're going to have 5, 6 penalties every single game. Then we lose a player on 15 minutes to 2 yellow cards down to 10 men. And we came out really well. 1-0 down at half time. We find ourselves 2-1 up, pegged back to 2-2 when everyone expected them to go on and win it. And we scored a really good third goal as well. And I think we're out deserved victors in the end.
I mean, I've got down here, it's an enjoyable game. That's what the EFL are all about. But I mean, as a manager on the sideline, when it's one of these games, are you just, taking it minute by minute, or are the nerves kicking in? What's it like as a manager?
No, I've got to say, at the moment, this season, I said to players, there's a real evident self-belief about them. I felt this time last year we had some quality, obviously the quality, but lacked a little bit of self-belief and confidence. And I'm seeing that now. They're going to places like Hull, like Middlesbrough, and knowing what they have to do to win. I know they have the quality in the ranks. If they do certain things, they will win the game of football. So really very proud of them last night and the character they showed, the effort they put into the game. But they deserve to win it. We had some good chances, in the second half there, even with 10 men. So they deserve a lot of credit. But it's one game, Will. We have to move on quickly. We're the early game Saturday now against Barnsley, and we have to prepare for that as best we can.
I mean, just on last night, you mentioned it there. You're away at Middlesbrough. For many people have put them up there with sort of promotion contenders. It's a Neil Warnock side. But you go down to 10 men and then retake the lead. I mean, for you, that must just give you so much hope and sort of, praising the team looking for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it does, because one, you got to deal with the physical aspect of defending against it. They've got some very high quality players. You've got the likes of Matt Crooks, who I signed previously at Rangers, but very talented 6'4" player. Piazza, you've got Chuba Akpom, you've got Fry and Hall at the back and come on. House and McNair in midfield. You've got some really talented players. Young boy Jones, an academy product on the wide left, Will, very, very talented boy. So you have to defend your goal with a real passion and desire, but at the same time pose an attacking threat. And that's what pleased me most of all. We didn't sit back behind the ball and did try and defend that goal. We attacked them. We got 2 quick goals, got 2-1 up. And as I said, 2-2, the whole stadium thought they're going to win it. And we got a really, really well-crafted third goal. So pleasing to see. Work the ball very well around the pitch and get the rewards. And then the 10 minutes added time to rub more salt into a wound. And we defend really well for that 10-minute period and look comfortable. So, as I say, a lot of credit deserved by the players. But we have to move on. It's a good 3 points, 6 points on the road, which is pleasing for anyone, of course. But now we've got to focus on a very tough test at the weekend.
Rob Dickie, I mean, we couldn't have you on and not talk about him. He's becoming a human highlight reel, not just by his goals, but even that sort of goal line saving clearance against Hull. Just, I mean, if you could talk about his performances this season, we could be another 45 minutes.
No, I think what you're seeing are young players who benefit enormously from last season, Will, in terms of getting used to the Championship. The likes of Chrissy Willock as well. These type of boys, Ilias Chair. You look at Senny Dieng in goal, but Rob is so comfortable on the ball, physicality, aerially strong, but passing, his technical base is so sound. So he's a very, very talented player, but he will benefit from this next year in the Championship, and I hope very much he goes. And I've got no doubts to go to the higher level. No doubts at all. Hopefully it's with QPR if all goes well, but his quality, his desire, his application, all the words you want to use are there in abundance.
And obviously he's playing in that back three and he's coming out forward. And is it just so pleasing to see? I mean, especially the first game, it's no more evident with the goal, but just how crucial is that for him, for you going forward?
I want both centre-halves. Johan Barbe is very, very technically gifted as well. But to have your centre-halves on both sides step in and create that overload sounds very basic, sounds very obvious, but it's so effective if done well by good players. And players have got to be brave as well. You can't just take the centre-half driving at midfield and create that overload. They've got to have the confidence and the skill to do so. And I'm very pleased that Johan, Jordi De Vries coming through the Dutch academy system, very technically strong. So we have 3 centre-halves who can deal with the football. Lee Wallace at wing-back, Mozo de Bayou, these type of players, very comfortable going forward, give us another outlet, attacking outlet, which has proven so effective. So, yeah, we're a good team, but teams will look to stop us. We've got to try and obviously stop them, negate their threats as well. It's a tough league, but right now we've had a good start.
Speaking of attacking threats, there's no more evident in Charlie Austin. I was listening to an interview with Rob Dickie yesterday, and he was just speaking about not only his obvious impact on the pitch, but even his impact for people like Lyndon Dykes off the pitch. Just how crucial is Charlie to you at QPR?
Yeah, very important. Obviously, his affiliation with the club was clear for all to see. His track record, proven goal scorer at the highest level, and he thoroughly enjoys scoring goals. But it's his input as that mentoring role on and off the pitch that Rob referred to. But the likes of Stefan Johansson, again, outstanding last night. Charlie, Steph, Lee Wallace, Albert Adoma. We have got 4 top-class senior pros. And I'm always talking about the impact they have in so many different areas. But you see here the goals they're scoring. Look at Albert. We work it here. But again, Charlie getting over, great header there. And that was a good away win at Watford last season, second half, when we were so strong. So those senior pros and Charlie Austin, his love for the club, the fans see it every single time, and it has a real impact, But all of those senior boys deserve enormous credit.
Just another player as well we wanted to feature as well. He's obviously scoring the winner last night, Chris Willock. I mean, I don't want to talk about his brother because it's too cliche, but he's a fantastic talent in his own rights, isn't he? I mean, even the assist with the chip ball over the top, the composure in and around the box, he looks such an exciting talent.
No, he does. And Chris, he had obviously an academy education at Arsenal, went to Benfica, never really broke through into the team. I think it's a very difficult move for a young player, Will, but he's come back to us, and Chrissy just needed to have that belief in how good he can be. He's got physicality, he's quick, he's strong, technical. Is that you or me?
Oh, I can still hear you. You okay?
My phone's off. Sorry about that. But no, he's got the technical base, Will, which is so strong. And he's just having that belief in his ability, how good he can be, how he can impact games, a positive aspect he can apply to every game. And I think you're seeing that now. In the last season, you were starting to see more and more glimpses of it. But he started so strong. He can get the ball. Last night, he ran up 4 or 5 players, and they can't touch him. Once he enters that final third in the penalty area, you know how difficult it is for defenders. And he has that lovely ability to take them on, take care of the football, and he's scoring goals now. So I think he has a really, really bright future ahead of him.
We spoke offline about the strength of the league, and obviously when you get the relegated side comes down, obviously they're favourites for promotion and all the sort of the strength in squad that they have. How do you look at this QPR squad? Are you sort of happy with the numbers you've got, or will there be a few more additions maybe going forward?
Maybe one more. I think we can't lose sight of the fact we came through the pandemic, and many clubs are still dealing with that financial impact. So, of course, the clubs coming down, the Fulhams, West Brom, Sheffield United, are always going to be favourites due to their financial power or financial muscle that they can apply. But also for me, I look at the teams that come up, because they know how to win together. So don't underestimate those teams either. But you've got to look at Fulham. You've got to look at, as I say, Sheffield and West Brom and Bournemouth, of course, to really push on and be the teams to beat. But QPR have kept their squad together. And it's teams like QPR, teams like Luton, Millwall, that can keep their squads together, that I think can be the ones at the end of the season who will be in that top 8 position and trying to push, obviously, for the playoff places.
Going into the season this year, obviously pundits and even people like me, Mark, making championship predictions, if you can believe that. But people were saying that this one is the most open championship in a while. How did you go into the season looking at it?
I think we have to look at it and we adopt the one game approach, Will, because you can look at the bigger picture. You can talk about the teams we mentioned earlier. I'm repeating myself now, but West Brom, Sheffield, Fulham. Just worry about QPR. Worry about your own team. Worry about what you're doing in terms of the squad, selection availability. Why about your environment you create for your club? As I say, by keeping the squad together, by getting those all 4 loan players, Stefan Johansson, to get the Norwegian captain, to come to us on a permanent basis is fantastic for us. Charlie Austin, of course, Lee Wallace, Albert, as I mentioned to you earlier. To keep that squad together, we're in good place, and it gives the playing squad a lot of self-belief. So that's what I mentioned to you earlier, taking that into the new season. We had a really good pre-season, some very good games against Leicester and Man U. I think it ignited the fan base. It certainly gave the players ever more belief. But it's all about the results, one game at a time. So that belief now, good result last night, forget that. That's in the bank. Now we move on to Barnsley. And that type of approach for us, I think, is so critically important.
I just wanted to touch on as well, because you've been part of the Football League for such a long time now as well. And I just wanted to get your take on how you think the league has evolved, not just the Championship, but even like down to League One and League Two from back in the day to, I mean, we see down to League Two and even National League now, teams playing out from the back.
Yeah, it is. And it's, I hate when people say the right way, playing football the right way. The right way is whatever suits the manager and the club at that relevant time with the squad that he or she has available. So, it's about what I do like, though. I think the academy education, the EPPP that came in, and you're looking at the impact it's having over a period of time now. It is filtering players down the academy as the top tier gets in more foreign players and obviously the highest quality talents in the global game coming into the Premier League. You see very good players filtered down the pyramid, and they can adopt the tactics by coaches who are coming through the system, getting their pro license, and the various diplomas. So you're seeing, I think, a high quality educational base all the way down that pyramid, as you say, into the National League. Good coaches, good players now who can deal with the tactics and the ideas of the young coaches. And it's good for the game, Will. It really is good for the game. And I hope very much the end product will be more British players, more British coaches getting opportunities at the higher levels.
Love that. Just finally from me, Mark, it sort of ties it all together. I know it's obviously a one-game approach, and rightly so for you, but maybe like objectives sort of off the field as well. Is that to sort of develop more young players through the first team and maybe see them make their mark on this QPR side?
Yeah, it's a big question, that, Will, because obviously my background is youth. I was a camp director at Watford. I set the next gen series tournament up. I've always been involved in youth football and love the young players doing well. But the key to it is you hear fans say, throw him in, throw that young boy in. They've got to be ready and they've got to be good enough. They've got to have that development potential that you think, actually, you know what, they've got a chance. They've got to have that. The young boy I mentioned at Middlesbrough last night, Jones, come to the academy there, was outstanding. A really talented boy. We've got players, Ilias Chair, Ibirieze, Chrissy Willock, these boys coming through. Rob Dickie, of course, all these young players. But they've got to be good enough, Will. And it drives me insane when I hear fans say, just throw them in, give them a chance. Because if they're not good enough and if they're not ready, they can really crumble and never recover from those type of experiences. So, yes, I'm a huge fan. I hope very much that we can get the young players coming through that the fans can engage with as they sing one of their own. You love to see that. But make sure they're good enough and make sure they have the potential to deal with what is such a challenging game.
Love that, Mark. Thanks so much for your time. When you come to St Andrews, if you could just go easy, that'll be all right. Maybe a score draw and we'll both be happy.
Well, nice speaking to you, Will. I'm not sure about that agreement, but we'll see when we come to playing up there.